All right. Welcome, friends. I'm so excited for this 4-week series. And real quick, I will pin myself so that you can see me on the screen as I demo. But so welcome. I'm so excited for this 4-week series, with the theme being You Are the Light. And we're drawing on summertime themes, the sunshine, and the sun can be so healing and energizing. I happen to adore the sun. I love the sun. I love being in the sun. I love feeling the heat on my skin. But in drawing from those summertime themes, we'll explore some spiritual truths as we move in our bodies, as we breathe consciously, and invite the presence of the spirit here with us and just deepen our awareness of that. So just to give you a little heads up of the format for the 4 weeks. So tonight we'll start with a gentle flow practice. And then the recorded video that I send out later in the week will be a power flow practice. Now, when I say power flow, we'll talk about that a little more in just a minute. But we'll alternate. So we're live, we're doing gentle flow this week. Next week live, we'll do power flow. And we'll alternate back and forth like that so that we get a little bit of a mix up. But my intention for this 4 weeks is a lot of repetition. We're going to repeat a lot of things the same time because, as you know, you can do a practice on the mat and come back 2 days later and forget everything that we did 2 days ago. So repetition is powerful. So tonight we'll really work on what to do. And as we repeat these postures and these moves over the 4 weeks, eventually there'll be some synchronicity in breath and movement. And then we'll begin to just embody this even more to the point that it becomes intuitive and instinctive. Your body knows how to do it. Another thing that I invite into our practice tonight is gentleness with yourself, but gentleness also in how you move, because a lot of times what we often do is push as hard as we can right out of the gate, and that can really be counterintuitive to what we want to accomplish here. So I invite you to move with gentleness, with sweetness to your own body, and just begin to develop a connectedness with your own body to know what is my body asking for. You know, sometimes we want a little more intense movement, and sometimes our body's like, hey, can we back off a little bit? So tonight, as we begin to move and flow, I invite you to be aware and be curious about how this is feeling in your body. And maybe even if you find that you're pushing to your edge, back off just a little bit and let's move a little more gently. So that is what we have to look forward to over the next 4 weeks. And tonight I would like to open up our practice with a pranayama practice. And you may be like, prana, what? I don't even know what that means. Prana in Sanskrit means vital life energy. And the vital life energy for us is our breath. So it's a breath practice. And in breathing with awareness and conscious breathing, slowly and mindfully deepening our inhale and our exhale, we reset our nervous system. And I'd like to teach you this because this is something that can be so helpful when you're on your yoga mat and also in your everyday life. You may find yourself in stressful situations and you need some kind of nervous system reset. And this breathing practice, even just being aware of your natural breath, can also help reset the practice. but or reset your nervous system, just calm you down. It's grounding. But the breath practice that I want to teach you tonight is called Ujjayi, or victorious breath. And this breath is also, it's energizing, but it's also grounding at the same time. So it's interesting how those two things can work together. But as we think about our breath and the physical benefits that we can get from conscious breathing, there's also spiritual benefits. I think there's so much spirituality in breath. You know, when you think of different scriptures where Adam was created and God breathed the breath of life into him. I love this verse in John 20:22, where Jesus says, "Peace be with you. As the Father is sending me, I am sending you." And he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit." So the breath of life just awakens us to the presence of the Spirit among us and within us. So all that being said, let's practice this breath practice, Ujjayi breath, victorious breath. And by doing so, just go ahead and sit in a comfortable position. You may choose to either kneel. I like to kneel sometimes. What's also great is if you have a yoga block, to sit the yoga block underneath your bottom in between your ankles. That's really comfortable. But for tonight, I'm going to sit in an easy seat, and I invite you to do the same. And just take a moment to rock back and forth on your sits bones and ground into the mat. Get comfortable. Bring your awareness to your natural breath and allow it to come in and go out as it naturally does. Be aware of receiving breath, and on the exhale, letting it go. And maybe in your mind, you just explore, what does that mean to you? Receiving as you inhale and letting it go as you exhale. Let's take another full inhale and exhale here. And now to introduce Ujjayi. So we're going to inhale through the nose. And on the exhale, we won't do it yet, but I'm just telling you. On the exhale, we'll exhale through the mouth with the mouth open, making an HA sound like ha. Okay? So let's try that. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, ha. It's almost like a deep sigh. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, mouth open, ha. Do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. You can let your breath return back to normal. So that's just to help you get the sound. This is an audible breath. So, and the point of this audible breath is to anchor your mind on something other than the stressful things that want to take place in your mind, right? So this is just to introduce how this breath is done, but in what we're working toward is your mouth will be closed when you make the HA sound. And this is just a sound in the back of your throat, kind of like, think of like what Darth Vader sounds like. And you can make that sound on the inhale and the exhale. So we'll try it again. And what we're going to do is inhale through the nose. Exhale, we'll begin exhaling the HA sound with our mouth open. And then halfway through the exhale, close your mouth and continue pushing that exhale out, gently constricting in the back of your throat, and you should still be able to hear your breath, okay? So let's take an inhale through the nose. Exhale. Notice how you can still hear that. Inhale. Exhale, mouth open. Close. Good. This time, let's try it with mouth closed. So inhale through the nose. Exhale, mouth closed. You continue through that 3 more times on your own. Good. And allow your breath just to come back to its natural breath, its natural pace. And I invite you now to lie back on your backs. We'll begin our movement today on our backs. So situate yourself comfortably, and I'll remain seated for this portion. And I invite you now, as you take a rest, this is totally your choice. If you would like to continue to practice that victorious breath, that audible breath, you're welcome to do that here or breathe naturally. And we'll just take a moment to allow all of our parts to gather here on the mat with us, our mind, our heart, our spirit, just settle into our body. And with your feet, if you can place the bottoms of your feet together to touch and allow your knees to fall open, that may be a comfortable position to recline in and breathe here. If you're comfortable allowing your eyes to close, feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And focus on your breath. And take a moment to notice how you're arriving on your mat today. Can you, with curiosity and gentleness, notice how you're feeling in your body today? And how are you feeling in your mind? If your thoughts are swirling and your brain is active, can you gently and lovingly make the choice to sit all that aside for this focused time on your mat? And I'd like to begin our practice sharing a scripture from Matthew 5, verses 14 and 16, and this is the Message version. And Jesus is saying, "You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven." And so take a moment here as you continue to focus on your breath to think about, what does it mean to you to be a light bearer in the world? I think it's so incredible that Jesus invites us to partner with him to be light bearers in the world. And take a couple more breaths here. And on your next exhale, maybe you use your hands to gently lift your knees back up toward the sky. And slowly draw them in toward your chest. And if it feels good, maybe you wrap your arms around the front of your shins or the back of your quads. Let your body be your teacher here and tell you what it needs, what it wants. Good. And continue to focus on your breath. Maybe it would feel good to lift your head up off the mat and reach your nose toward your knees, knowing that it's okay if they don't touch or even come close, but just move in a way that feels good and loving to your body. Good. Allow your feet to drop back down to the mat gently. And in whatever way feels good and intuitive to your body, to make your way into a tabletop position. I invite you to meet me there in tabletop, and we'll begin facing toward the left side of our mats. Actually, I'm going to turn to the same direction as you and Jeanette so that we kind of mirror each other. So in tabletop, find a hand placement that feels good for you in your wrists. A lot of times with our hands directly under our shoulders, that's a wrist extension that can be quite a lot at times. So find a hand placement, whether it's directly under your shoulders or maybe just a little bit in front of your shoulders, just to lessen the extension a bit. And let's take a moment here just to kind of rock back and forth, right to left, pressing into the knees, pressing into the tops of the feet, just to find our center of gravity here. And we'll take 3 full breaths here in tabletop. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale one more time. And exhale. And on our next inhale, we'll begin to move through some cat-cow. So cow, dipping the belly down toward the mat, lifting the tailbone, lifting the head to gaze forward. And take a full inhale here in cow. And exhale, draw the chin towards the chest, rounding through the middle spine, lower spine, tucking the tailbone underneath. Again, press into your hands to maybe find a little more arch here. And inhale. Exhale, back to tabletop. And then from here, on your own, at your pace and your rhythm, let's move through cat-cow 3 more times. See if you can sync your breath with your movement. And we'll, again, meet back in tabletop with a flat back, neutral spine. And on our next inhale, let's lift the right hand out to the side. And you don't have to come way up in the air. You can come to a lower level if that feels best for you. But let's inhale here and then thread the right arm underneath the left arm. And maybe if this is too much of a twist for you, you can stay up here. But if it feels good, allow your shoulder and your head to come and rest on the mat. And if it feels good, maybe you stretch your left hand out in front of your head. And let's take a full breath here in this stretch. And exhale it out. Draw your left hand back toward your face and slowly press your way back up into tabletop. And we'll repeat that on the left side. So inhale the left arm out to the side and up to whatever level feels good. And thread it under the right arm, allowing the head and shoulder to come down to the mat. Good. And if it feels good, extend that right arm out straight. And then take a full inhale. Exhale that out and come back up into our tabletop position. Nice. All right, from here, we're going to take our first child's pose, and that can be done with knees together or knees as wide as the mat and big toes touching. Take a moment here for 3 full breaths. Again, settling into our body. And maybe just consider, what God colors do you bring to the world? And on your last exhale, let's make our way back up and into tabletop position. Good. Now this next, we're going to move into a modified side plank. So you're going to take your right foot and kind of move it. I'm going to move so you can see me. Move it to the right side of your mat, off the long edge of the mat, and then extend your left leg out toward the end of your mat and kind of press down into your foot. So you're pressing into your right hand. You've got your right knee on the mat and your left foot touching the floor. And then from here, let's inhale the left arm up into the sky. If it feels good, you can extend it on up toward your head. But again, find whatever movement feels good for you. And let's take 3 full breaths here in modified side plank. This is a great place for that victorious breath. Focus on the sound. And on your last exhale, bring your left hand back to the mat. We'll come back into tabletop and repeat that on the left side. So on your left, you'll take your left foot off the long edge of the mat. Press your left hand into the mat underneath your shoulder. Extend the right leg out long. And in this position, maybe take a moment to scan from foot up the leg. Is everything straight? Can you find alignment in your pelvis, in your spine? And then inhale that right arm up into the sky. Take 3 full inhales again on this side. And on the last exhale, we'll make our way right hand back down to the mat into table. So from here, let's uncurl let's tuck our toes. So bring your toes and the ball of your foot to the mat. Bring your hands just out in front of your shoulders. We'll begin to press into the hands and lift and press into the toes as we lift our knees up. Press your tailbone up and back into our first downward dog. Again, keeping that gentleness in mind. Maybe keep your knees bent a lot, a little. Let your body tell you what it wants. And if it feels good, begin to pedal it out here, bending one knee while straightening the other. and vice versa. And breathe as you move. Good. Let's find some stillness. Allowing our heels to reach toward the mat. Continue to press into your hands and press your tailbone up toward the sky. One good stretch. And then let's slowly step our way toward the top of our mat. We'll meet in forward fold. Now in our forward fold, again, knees are generously bent here, which I encourage you throughout the practice tonight to keep your knees bent in any standing posture, just as we're gently making our way into these movements. Allow your head to hang here for a minute and maybe shake your head no and shake your head yes. And grab your opposite wrist here or grab opposite elbows and just begin rocking back and forth. Maybe you play with straightening through the knee a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other, just inviting some stretch into our hamstrings without really pressing into it. And that just signals your nervous system that, hey, we're doing something, and your body will tell you if this is okay or this is not okay. Rocking back and forth. Continue to focus on your breath. And this next move, I'm going to turn to face the camera so that you can see this. But we're in our forward fold. We're either grabbing elbows or we're grabbing wrists here. Sometimes it can be difficult to get to the elbows. So if wrist is more comfortable, good. But we're going to keep knees bent. And this move is really coming from our legs. We're going to begin building a little strength in our legs by rocking back and forth, pressing into your feet. You can begin to feel your quads, your hamstrings, your hips light up a little bit. And as you continue to rock back and forth, maybe you allow your upper body to come to the side and off your legs a little bit, and then back down and to the other side. And you'll feel a stretch in your side body when you do that. But the main thing is the strength in the legs. And this is called half sunflower. We'll make our way through the weeks into full sunflower. But for now, just want to introduce this movement into our bodies. So allow that to come back down, slow your rock, settle back into a forward fold. Allow the head to hang again, and just feel the stretch in your back body as you breathe. Feel your ribs expand. And I'm going to step back to the top of my mat. So we're in forward fold. From here, we're going to roll our way up into mountain. So bending in the knees, pressing all four corners of the feet into the mat. Slowly begin to articulate from your tailbone up each vertebrae of the spine. Roll your shoulders up and back and down, and allow your head to come up. From here, let's inhale, arms up and overhead. Meet in prayer and bring the hands back down to our heart and fold back into our forward fold. Good. Inhale, half lift here with a flat back, hands on shins or hands on thighs. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Let's step the right foot back and left foot back into plank. And then lower the knees. Uncurl your toes so the tops of your feet touch the mat. And slowly, with keeping your elbows drawn into your sides, lower your way down onto your belly. With your next inhale, hands are under your shoulders, Lift the head up just for a baby cobra. Not much of a back bend here at all. Exhale back down. Good. Uncurl your toes. Press into your hands and make your way back into child's pose. Good, and that is called sun salutation. And we're gonna go through that a couple more times. So take a moment here to get a couple full breaths. Allow your breath to catch back up. Good. And after your last exhale, let's come back onto our hands and press up into downward dog. Good. Inhale here. And on your exhale, make your way stepping toward the top of the mat. Good. With knees bent, press into your feet. Lift arms up and overhead. Meet in prayer again. Draw it back down to your heart as you begin working your way back into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to mat. This time step back with the left foot first, then the right, knees to the mat. Good. And with hands under shoulders, elbows drawn in toward your rib cage, slowly lower to your belly. Good. Inhale for baby cobra. Exhale back down to the mat. Uncurl your toes. Press in your hands. Make your way back to child's pose. Beautiful. Good. 2 full breaths here. And we'll repeat that one more time. So on your next inhale, come back into hands, toes lifted, up into downward dog. Good. Slowly step your way toward the front of the mat. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Meet in prayer. Draw it down to your heart. Slowly make your way back into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. And with whatever foot you want, step it back into plank. And then drop your knees. Lower down. And inhale, our last baby cobra. Exhale, back down to the mat. Again, we'll make our way back into child's pose. So good. So breathe it out here, 2 full breaths. And then we're going to make our way into our next flow. So on your last exhale, we'll lift back and up into downward dog again. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, step your way toward the top of the mat. And again, we'll inhale, arms up and overhead into prayer. Draw it down to our heart. And this time we're going to work our way into chair pose. So inhale in here and exhale, sit back like you're sitting in a chair, but very minimal here. You don't have to come way down here. We're just going to ease our way into this a little bit. So come down just a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, press into the feet. Come back up to mountain. Good. We're going to inhale. Exhale, sit your seat back. Maybe you come a little bit further this time. Inhale. Exhale, press back up into mountain. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, sit back. Maybe you go a little bit further this time, but we're going to hold it here for 3 breaths. So choose wisely. Inhale. Exhale. Next 2 on your own. On your last exhale, press back up into mountain. Good job. So take an inhale here. We're going to sit back in that chair pose, and then we're going to fold forward into forward fold. And inhale, half lift here. Exhale back to the mat. We'll step the right foot back and let the knee come to the mat. So left leg is bent at a 90-degree angle. Right knee is on the mat as far back as what feels right in your body. And inhale the arms up to the sides and overhead. Meet in prayer. And from here, let's focus on lifting up and out of our right hip, lengthening through the spine, and begin just to introduce a baby back bend here, opening your heart, lifting it up toward the sky, but not very much. And then just allow yourself to come back upright. So inhale, back bend, heart open. Exhale, come back up straight. This is so minimal, like you probably can't even see any of my back bend, and that's okay. But inhale, bend, open the heart, lift it toward the sky, and come back up into straight. Good. So we're going to put that into a little flow where we inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, lean forward in our upper body while we lift our arms back and away from us, airplane arms. Good. And to put that together in a flow, you're going to draw your hands up into your heart, slight back bend. Exhale, upper body forward, hands in airplane. Good. Inhale, heart. Open and lift. Good. Exhale, airplane arms, body comes forward. Now inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, hands to mat. Uncurl the right toes and lift that foot. Now we're in a high lunge, or a low lunge, I'm sorry. And from here, we're going to step the left foot back into downward dog. Press your tailbone back, press into your hands, lift it up to the sky. And then from here, let's walk our hands back to our toes this time. So we're at the back of our mat in forward fold. Take an inhale, exhale, roll it up, one vertebrae at a time. Allow your head to come up, and then slowly step your way to the top of the mat in mountain. Good. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Meet at the top and draw your prayer hands down to your heart. Come forward into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to mat and step your left foot back and drop your left knee to the mat. So we're going to repeat that little flow with open heart and airplane arms on the left side. So go ahead and draw your hands out to the sides, up and overhead. Meet in prayer. Draw it down to your heart. Inhale, baby back bend. Lift your gaze, lift your heart toward the sky. Exhale, upper body forward, arms back in airplane. Good. Inhale, hands to heart. Lift your heart toward the sky. Exhale, arms back, airplane. One more time, just like that on your own. You know what to do now. And we'll meet with our hands back on our mat. Lift the left knee into low lunge. And from here, Let's turn the left toes toward the long edge of the mat. And we'll inhale, roll our arms up into warrior two. Good. All right. Now, again, syncing our breath with our movement. Let's take a full inhale here in warrior two. And on your next inhale, allow the left hand to come back to the left thigh and right arm reaches up and overhead. Beautiful. Exhale, right elbow comes to right knee. Good. Finding that space and length in your spine and lift your left arm up into the air for extended side angle. Good. Inhale up to warrior two. Exhale. Inhale, reverse warrior. Left arm back to your thigh. Yeah, we're just repeating the same thing again. Exhale, let your left elbow come to your right elbow to your right thigh. Left arm extends into the air. Beautiful. Let's do that 2 more times since I messed it up. Inhale up to warrior two. Good. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Good. And last time, inhale up to warrior two. Exhale. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Great. All right, now bring that left arm down to your side. From here, we're just going to turn our right toes toward the long edge of the mat. If it helps you out, you may want to turn around the other way so you can see me. Good. So here we're just in a wide-legged stance. Let's make our way into a wide-legged forward fold. So again, knees bent here. Find whatever movement feels good here. It's bending in your knee and rocking back and forth. Maybe you just want to sway your upper body. I invite you to find what feels good here. As we take a mini break, and then we're going to turn our toes toward the other side of the mat from where we just were. We're going to do that warrior two, reverse warrior, extended side angle on the other side. So my right toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Left toes facing the short end of the mat. Let's inhale, cartwheel the arms up and into our warrior two. Good. All right, take a full breath here. I need it. I needed to. Inhale, drop your right hand to your right thigh. Reverse warrior. Exhale, left elbow, left thigh, right arm up in the air, extended side angle. Good. Inhale up to your warrior two. Exhale it out. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. One more time, just like that. Inhale up into warrior two. Exhale. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Good, and just like we did on the other side, turn your toes toward the long edge of the mat. We're in a wide-legged forward fold. One more time. Shake it out here. Maybe you shake your head, yes and no. Any movement your body's asking for, feel free to take it here. And what we'll do is turn back to the other end of the mat. So we're in low lunge with fingers and hands pressing into the mat. Step that right foot back, and we're in our very last downward dog of this practice. So really take a moment to make it so yummy. Make it feel good in your body. Stretch what needs to be stretched. We're going to make our way down to our belly. So allow the knees to drop toward the mat. And in an intuitive way that feels good to you, make your way to your belly. Now this next posture is called locust pose, and there are many variations that you can do. And so for today, I encourage you to try this with your arms extended forward in front of you. And what we'll do is on our inhale, we'll just start with the toes first. So full locust would be arms and toes lifted at the same time. But for this practice, I encourage you to just start with your toes. So inhale here, exhale, press your pubic bone into the earth, engage your quads, lift your toes, breathe here. Just hold your toes up off the mat. And on your next exhale, lower them back down. Good, and just like that, go through that 2 more times. Again, I can't express enough how important it is to really focus on pressing your pubic bone down into the earth before you lift your legs so that you don't hurt your lower back. And I have my head lifted here, but that's more just so you can hear me. You're welcome to rest your head on the mat if that feels good. And last time, inhale, press into your pubic bone, exhale, and lift your toes off the mat. Good. All right. And that is all for locust pose. So from here, maybe you stack your arms one on top of the other and rest your head if that feels good for you. What we're going to do is one side at a time. We're going to draw our leg up into a 90-degree angle and just allow our hips to open up a little bit. So this is going to be just a holding posture. We'll hold it for 3 breaths. So once you get there, just breathe and allow your body to open up as it wants to. And as you have finished your 3rd round of breath, we'll meet back in the middle with legs straight and move to the other side. And now moving on to the other side for another 3 full inhale and exhales. And just imagine as you breathe and allow your body to open up, that you're being filled with God's light here. And He's filling you up so that you can go out and be a light bearer in the world. And what might that mean for you? After your last exhale on this side, slowly make your way up into a seated position. And we'll begin with kind of where we started, in a bound angle posture. So bottoms of the feet touching, knees open wide, and maybe just sitting up straight and finding length in your spine here and holding onto your ankles is enough for you. If you would like a little more of a stretch on your inhale, lengthen through the spine. And on your exhale, begin making your way forward. Focus on keeping your alignment in your spine straight. So try not to round through the back if possible. And just breathe into those tight spaces without pressing in too far. Take one more full round of breath. Good, and sit yourself back up. Let's lengthen our legs out in front of us now. And this is really called seated forward fold, but I'm calling it caterpillar here because it's summery and it's more fun than seated forward fold. So with our legs stretched out to the front, inhale your arms up. Don't bring them to touch, just whatever up feels good for you. And then exhale, keeping that flat back. Allow your upper body to come forward and your hands to rest where they find themselves. And let's take 3 full breaths here. And allow yourself to slowly make your way back up to a straight spine in your seat. And from here, let's bend the right leg. Allow the bottom of the right foot to come to the opposite side of your left knee. So cross it over. Now in this twist, it may feel good for you to just hold your right knee with your left hand, or if you have the space to do this, feel free to hook your elbow on your right knee. Allow your right hand to come back behind your bottom, press into the earth, and inhale, lengthen through your spine. And on the exhale, twist just slightly. And with 2 more breaths here, lengthen in the inhale and twist on the exhale. Last breath. And unravel your way back to the center. We'll repeat that on the other side. So bend the left knee, bring it on the opposite side of the right hand or elbow, hook. Press your left hand into the earth. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, find your twist. And breathe 2 more times, just like that, lengthening through the spine, twisting on the exhale. Good, unravel your way back to the center one more time. Now from here, we'll make our way to our back. And I invite you, as you get to your back, to find any movement that your body is still wanting or asking for before we settle into Shavasana. Now, as you're ready, lengthen your legs out straight, if that's available to you today. Allow your hands to fall to your side, and your eyes to become heavy, maybe even close. And again, turn your attention toward your breath. Allowing all the goodness of that practice just to settle into your body, settle into your heart and your spirit. And before I give you a couple of minutes of silent rest, I'd like to offer the passage that I began the practice with, Matthew 5:14 through 16 in the Message version. Jesus says, "You're here to be the light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God this generous Father in heaven. So ponder that. Spend some time just meditating, letting those words sink into your spirit. And as you're ready, begin to wiggle your toes and fingertips. Maybe you blink your eyes open slowly. Take a full breath. Maybe stretch out long and slowly make your way into a seated position. Take as much time as you want. Good. Let's take one more full inhale together here. Just allow the elements and the nutrients of this practice just to settle in a little bit deeper. Let's inhale. Exhale. Let's go be light in the world.